I have a feeling God's going to talk to you this morning. I have a feeling you're going to wrestle with God. Who knows what our mission statement is? A mission statement, let me tell you what a mission statement is. It's where the church is going. Not where it wants to go, but where it's going. Our mission statement. Who knows what it is?
Living dangerously for Christ.
All right. Dangerously following Christ.
Oh, sorry.
That's our, well, that's close enough. Dangerously following Christ. How dangerous are you? How dangerous are you? Would Jesus say that you were a dangerous Christian? What does that mean? How dangerous do you want to be? Or you'd rather just stay where it's kind of comfortable? Because that's what the majority of Christians do. They stay where it's comfortable. We're going to start a series today. It's going to be on the book of 1 Peter. The book of 1 Peter. Peter was a dangerous man. Okay. I'm going to do what Steve Martin does. Some of you know Steve Martin. Peter was a wild and crazy guy. That's what Steve Martin was. Now, when I got, a lot of you are Catholics in here. I was raised Catholic, and when you get confirmed, you have to take on another name. They automatically give you the name Joseph. And if you're a girl, you get the name Mary. So my name is Jimmy Michael Joseph Peter Blunt. I took the name Peter because I don't want to be a wild and crazy guy. For Jesus, though. For Jesus. What does that mean? What does that mean to be a wild and dangerous person for Jesus? To follow Jesus dangerously? I'm going to give you some examples, okay? Before we get into Peter. Dave and I at one point said, start a church. Can't be that hard. Have you ever done it before? No. But let's just do it. And then, a while back, Dave and Claudia said, let's go to India. Can't be that hard. Have you ever done it before? Have you ever organized a trip? No. So what they do is they get a bunch of people that come in here to share about their time to India, and a whole bunch of you get excited about it. Now they got a whole bunch of you going to India. Easy, isn't it? Dangerous. Dangerous. Oh my gosh. They have to raise an incredible amount of money to be able to send those people there. And it's going to be dangerous for the people to go there. My daughter Tisha comes up and says, you know, I'd like to help organize the children. Get curriculum, get the teachers on the schedule, etc. Have you ever done it before? No. Can't be that hard. Dangerous. Dangerous. Let me give you another one. Lauren and Monica. A couple weeks ago, heard God talking to them. Saying it's time to start giving again to the church. We haven't done it for a long time. Let's start giving to the church. So I'm not going to tell you the amount, but Lauren and Monica wrote out a check that I'll guarantee you 90% of you are not going to give that much in a year's time that they gave to Collision. Now, easy for him because he owns a major company. Yeah. No, he works in a cardboard factory. Works in a cardboard factory. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. To give that much money away that you're probably going to need. That's dangerous. How about Albert and Danielle? Let's host a life group. Can't be that hard. You ever done it before? No. They're stuck every Wednesday. For those of you that go to the life group, if Nick doesn't decide like going some weeks, just gotta just stay home. They can't just say, oh, let's just stay home. Because that's where the life group is. And then Robert and Tracy lead the life group. You have done it before? No. Can't be that hard. That's being dangerous. That's what being dangerous is, okay? Now I can give a whole lot more examples of being dangerous. I started a youth group here a couple of years ago. Now I've got youth ministry under my belt, so I'm going to start a youth group. But I'm 65 years old. And somebody in this church, I won't mention any names, said, nobody's going to want to go to a youth group with a 65-year-old guy. So I did it. Can't be that hard. That's being dangerous. That's being dangerous. How about this one? I'm going to start taking some hip-hop songs, change the words and sing them. Can't be that hard. You ever sang before? No. Do you know how to sing? No. That's being dangerous. That's being... Now, if me, who doesn't have any kind of a voice whatsoever, I don't even know how to sing in the shower, if that makes sense, okay? Imagine how many of you could do something like that. Imagine what Billy could do with that. Huh? How about this one? How about this one? I'm going to start taking care of the needs of the church. Do you know what they are? No. Can't be that hard. Well, do you know that there's a whole bunch of people that have vehicles that aren't working or not working very good that have to be fixed? Do you know that there's a whole bunch of people that can't go to work because they don't have an automobile to go to work? Do you know that there's a whole bunch of people that can't pay their rent and utilities and get ready to be evicted? Do you know that there's a family in our church that has a home that they've owned for over 20 years, but because they've been helping their family out, it's in foreclosure? Do you know that there's a whole bunch of people that don't have food, clothing, they don't need small tests, need tags for their vehicles? Can't be that hard. I just decided to be dangerous. I just decided to be dangerous. Why have a mission statement if you're not going to follow it? It's like a business that has a mission statement and they don't follow their mission statement. Good luck. Good luck with that business. So we have one. Now today I have a feeling that you're going to wrestle with God today. You're going to hear God, but you're going to wrestle with Him. God's going to put you in a headlock. He's going to squeeze you. Come on, come on, come on. And then you're going to put God in a headlock. No, 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 not me, not me, not me. You're going to be fighting Him this morning here. We're going to take a look at Peter. Because we're going to start the book of 1 Peter. So before we start the book, we've got to find out what Peter was like. Who was Peter? When Jesus first picked Peter, his name was Simon. And because Jesus knew ahead of time what Peter was going to be like, that he was going to be dangerous, I'm going to change your name to Peter, which means the rock. Because you're a hard-headed guy. You're going to do some wild and crazy things. So I'm going to change your name. And then there was a point where Jesus did a transfiguration, where he went up on a mountaintop with Moses and Elijah. Now Moses and Elijah are two men that we know that Elijah was taken up, never died. We don't know about Moses because they never found a burial place for Moses. So they believe that Elijah and Moses never died. They were just taken up into heaven. So Jesus is going up to meet these two, and he takes 3 disciples with him. He takes Peter, James, and John, his kind of inner 3. Okay, let's take a look at this right here. Let's look at Matthew chapter 17, verses 1 through 4. This is why I like Peter. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. There he was, transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. In other words, he took on his heavenly form. He took on his heavenly form, and he allowed Peter, James, and John to see it. Just then there appeared before them Moses and Elijah, talking with Jesus. So like Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it's good for us to be here. If you wish, I'll put up 3 shelters, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Now, here's the reason I bring this up. I'm sure the other 2 disciples were just like, gazing. But Peter's like, let's do something here now. Let's do something. Let's not just look. Let's not just look. Let's do something. Jesus, we'll build some shelters for you people here now. Now, here's the next one that I love. One of my favorite stories in the Bible. Let's go to Matthew chapter 14. You're going to get a real good look at who Peter was. I want to be Peter. I want to be like Peter. I want to be like Peter. Now, they're out on the water. They're out on the water. Jesus was at shore. The disciples are out on the water, and the storm comes up. But the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. During the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walk on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, let me come to you on the water. Come, Jesus said. And Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why do you doubt? What did all the other disciples do? They stayed in the boat. What did Peter do? Jesus, Jesus, can I come out where you're at? Come on, Peter. Gets out of the boat and starts walking on water. When did he start sinking?
He turned his head.
He turned his eyes off Jesus. He started to sink. Did Jesus allow him to drown? Reached out and picked him up. Now, three things we need to learn from this. Number one, don't do anything where Jesus hasn't called you to do it. If you're doing it on your own, you will sink. You will sink. But if Jesus calls you and you reply and you do it for Jesus, you can walk on water. If you're doing worship, but you're doing it for Jesus and you're not doing it because, hey, I got a good voice, I can sing. But you're like, no, Jesus, do you want me in the worship team? Yes, I want you in the worship team. I can do that, Jesus. And you constantly are looking at Jesus. You can walk on water. You can walk on water. You can do the impossible. Let's look at Matthew 19:26. Matthew 19:26. This is what Jesus himself says. It was the last one, so it's going to not be in order. It was the very last one that was on the list. Matthew 19:26, as he goes to it. I'll just tell you ahead of time, because he finds it. You found it? Okay, put it up there. Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. With man, it's impossible for Peter to walk on water. But with Jesus, he could walk on water. There's things that you can do that you never thought you could do before. You can sing hip hop. You can take a group of people to India. You can host a life group. You can teach a life group. You can do things that you've never done before if you want to be dangerous. But if you don't want to be dangerous, stay in the boat. That's what all the other disciples did. They just stayed in the boat. But if you want your life to be exciting, if you want your faith to be exciting, get out of the boat. Get out of the boat. What's your boat? What's your boat? Is your boat sitting on a sofa watching TV? Is that your boat? Get out of the boat. Get out of the boat. Is your boat sitting on a chair playing video games? Get out of that boat. That's boring as anybody can do that. That is what all the youth do. You want to be dangerous for Jesus? Get out of the boat and start walking on water. Start doing the impossible. Things that you never thought you could do before. You can do them. You can do them. How about, is your boat the ball field? Playing sports? Is that your boat? Every weekend, that's what you're doing? But if the game is on Sunday, game takes priority. Oh, I know a lot of people do that. Now, it's not bad. That might be your battlefield. That might be where you'll walk on water if you're not just playing the game. If you're saying, hey, let's pray before we play this game. I tell you what, let's get here a half hour early. And let's start reading a chapter out of Matthew and talk about it before we play the game. Now you're doing something. You're just playing the game. You're staying in the boat. You're just staying in the boat. Then, how about this one? Overtime. Making money. Now, if you need the money, great. But if you're just doing it to make money, that's your boat. That's your boat. Get out of the boat. How about this one? Idle. Being broke. That's your boat. That's your boat. I can't find a job. I can't find a job. That's your boat. That's your boat. Want to get out of that boat? Oh, dangerous. Here's one. Depression. No energy. That's your boat. That's your boat. Do you want to be like Peter? If you want to be like Peter, you got to get out of your boat and tell Jesus, Jesus, I want to do something. I want to do something dangerous. Can I do this, Jesus? Yes. I'm doing it for you. Do it. Do it. Be dangerous. Be dangerous. That's who Peter was. That's who Peter was. He was dangerous. I want to show you some more how dangerous Peter was, okay? John 18:10. Jesus is being arrested now in the garden. And the disciples are with him. Peter's one of the disciples that are with him. They're coming in to arrest Jesus with a battalion. Now, a battalion is anywhere from a minimum of 100 men up to 1,000 men. These men all have helmets, shields, armor, and swords, and a servant to carry their shield for them. Coming to arrest Jesus. This is what Peter does. I love it. Got it? Put it up there. This is John 18. Then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant, cutting off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. You're going to arrest Jesus? I'll take you all on. I got a sword. What do you think the other disciples did? Which one do you want to be like? Which one do you want to be like? You want to be like you want to be the dangerous one? Like Peter? No, Jesus protected him. Jesus protected him. They didn't allow Peter to get killed. He protected him. He's not going to let you sink. He'll reach down and pull you out. Here's another one, Matthew 26. These are all the disciples who are with Jesus, all right? Jesus now tells his disciples what's going to happen. I'm going to have to go to Jerusalem. I'm going to get arrested, and they're going to put me to death. And all the disciples were probably like, what? What? Is that what's going to happen? Look at what Peter does. Matthew 26, verses 31 through 35. Then Jesus told them, this very night you will all fall away on account of me. For it is written, that every one of you are going to scatter. I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee. Peter replied, even if all fall away on account of you, I never will. I tell you the truth, Jesus answered, this very night before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. Peter, I'm not going to abandon you, Jesus. He did. He did, as we all know. And then look at what Jesus tells them when he comes back after Jesus rose from the dead. Comes back to Peter. Let's look at John 21. Comes back to Peter. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. Jesus said, then feed my lambs. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you truly love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, then take care of my sheep. The third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Now Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all these things. You know that I love you. He said, then feed my sheep. He had denied Jesus 3 times, so Jesus asked Peter 3 times. He's asking you, do you love me? Do you love me? That's the question Jesus asking you. Do you love me? That's Jesus, I love you. Help me take care of my sheep. Help me take care of my sheep. Jesus, do you love me? Yes, Jesus, I love you. Teach my lambs. Teach my children. Taters, teach my lambs. Do you love me? Yes. Teach my sheep. Teach my sheep. Do you love Jesus? Are you willing to get out of your boat? What Lauren and Monica did was help them to take care of the sheep. What those that work with children are doing is taking care of sheep. With those of you that are leading life groups, taking care of sheep, taking care of lambs. Would Jesus be telling you, get out of your boat? I hope you don't mind this. I warn you ahead of time. Get out of the darn boat. Don't stay in that darn boat. It's boring. It's boring. Be dangerous. Be dangerous. Get out of the boat and start doing something. Do something that you've never done before. You can do it. You can do it. Host a life group. Teach a life group. I've never done that before. Danielle, did you do it before? Never done it before. Did you organize a whole India trip before to take them to India? Never done it before. So what? So what? So what? Let's look at Acts 4:13 here. Let's look at Acts 4:13. Peter, the same Peter now, who was just a fisherman, gets up now after Jesus had died, and he gets in front of the church leaders, the ones that killed Jesus, the ones that he ran away from. Now he's back. And kind of like, you killed God. And he gives this great speech to them. And after the speech, this is what's said, 4:13. Acts 4:13. When they saw the courage of Peter and John and realized that they were unschooled, ordinary men, Some translations say unschooled, untrained, ordinary men. They were astonished, and they took note that these men had been with Jesus. When you walk with Jesus and you're doing it for Jesus, there ain't nothing you can't do. You can get out of the boat and walk on water. Peter did. Peter did. Let me just give you a few things. I already shared one of them. I'm not going to ask you, but some of you, I bet, have a savings account. I bet you some of you have a savings account. You want to be dangerous? You want to be dangerous? Zena wants to go to India. Zena, you come from a wealthy family, right? When you send out letters, are you getting very much response back? No. Are you selling little trinkets and stuff to try and earn your way there? Don't have to sell that many trinkets to earn $2,500, do you? This girl wants to go to India. She's going to leave her son and her daughter and her good-looking husband behind to go to India. She wants to get out of the boat. She wants to get out of the boat and go clear across the world to minister to people that are way worse shape than what she is. Some of us have a checking account where we could be dangerous and we could take out a check and write that check out for $2,500 and give it to Zena. So Zena could go to India. But you have to be dangerous to do that. You have to be dangerous to do that. I might need that money. I might need that money. I loved what Linda, Jay's wife, last week, 2 weeks ago, said that she was sitting in church here and she heard Jesus loud and clear say, Linda, I want you to tithe. I know you haven't done it for ages. I want you to tithe to the church. She heard a voice. She tithed. She heard Jesus, and she didn't stay in the boat. She heard Jesus, and she said, all right, I need that money. Our family needs that money. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to obey you. How many of us could do that? How many of us can do that? But you got to be dangerous to do that. You got to be dangerous. You got to be Peter. You got to be Peter. You can't be the other disciples staying in the boat where it's comfortable. Sure, you can keep your savings. You can keep your money nice and comfortable. You might be able to use it to go on a vacation. You might be able to use it to buy a better car. You might be able to use it for a lot. Or you can be dangerous. Get out of that darn boat. Walk on water and see what Jesus does. See what Jesus does. But you gotta want to do it. You gotta want to do it. What is Jesus telling you to do? What is Jesus telling you to do? I love this. There's a young girl that's in college that's graduating. She comes from a very undisciplined, un-Christian home. Alex is coming home. And she sent me an email saying, I would love to start a Bible study. I'm in a Bible study that changed my life, and I would love to start a Bible study for the girls at Collision that are 16 years and older. Now, she could have said, I'm coming back, I've graduated, I want to get a job, I want to start making money, I'm going to go to a church where there's boys my age. And I might find a good-looking guy and get married. There's no good-looking guy. No, just kidding. But no. Alex, I want to be dangerous. I want to be dangerous. I want to feed the lambs. I want to feed the lambs. you going to do now when you walk out of here today? What are you going to do when you walk out of here today? Are you even going to ask Jesus? Like Peter, Peter, Jesus, can I come out and meet you in the water? Are you even going to ask Jesus? Jesus, what can I do? What can I do? And then when you're in that quiet time and he gives you something really scary, just do it. Never done it before. Well, none of us have. None of us have. I can remember when Renee, when I was in his life group in his house, I think it was probably the first time that he played guitar to lead us in a song. It was great. Not. He was just learning. But he got out of the boat. He got out of the boat. Said, Jesus, can I lead worship? He said, yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can walk on water, Renee. I'm going to give you one more. This Wednesday, there's a couple in our church, Mary and Victor, been fighting for their two little babies. Little baby girl, little baby boy that's been taken away from them. They've gone to the court several times. They were just there a week ago. No luck. No luck. So they asked, Victor's attorney asked, can your pastor come this Wednesday? No. And to be honest with you, I don't want to go. You know why? It's my golf day. I love golf. And I'm getting better at it. I beat two of the guys and I'm almost beating the third guy. Man, I want to beat him. It's fun. But I just heard Jesus. Jim, get out of the boat. Get out of the boat, Jim. Take care of my sheep. Take care of my lambs. What would happen if a whole bunch of us showed up there? Oh, well, but I got things to do. I got things to do. I've recorded, I don't know how many American Idols, and I haven't watched any of them yet. I've got things to do. How long are we going to be there? Well, last time it was till 5 o'clock. Did it work? No. No. Will it work this time? Here's what I'm going to do. This Wednesday morning, I'm going to be in this parking lot right here. I can haul five people comfortable, 7 uncomfortable, 9 really uncomfortable. But I've done it many times. You want to go? You want to go? You want to be dangerous? You want to be dangerous? Use a sick day. Use a vacation day. Be dangerous. Would that ever be dangerous? But here's what Jesus is saying. Do you love me? Do you love me? Yes, Jesus, I love you. Get out of the boat. And feed my sheep. Get out of the boat and take care of my lambs. What is Jesus asking you to do? I don't want to just stay in the boat anymore, people. I don't know about you, but I don't want to stay in the boat. I want to walk on water. Crap, would that be fun? Would that ever be fun? I'm walking on water. Whoa, Jesus, I'm walking on water. I'm singing hip-hop. I'm leading the youth group at 65, well, no, 67 now, years of age. I'm leading a church, not very many people there today. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh. I got the strength of because I've been fighting God, so what do you guys do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Nothing? Well, if you want to be boring, if you want to be boring, you'll be doing nothing. You want to be dangerous? I just gave you a few ideas. Get the worship team up here. That's what I want to do.
I'm good with that.
During worship, we always go to the cross. This is what I want you to do. If you're sitting out there and you're saying to yourself, man, I'd like to be dangerous. I'd like to be dangerous. Young people, this is you too. This is you too. I would like to be dangerous. Come to the cross to them and say, Jesus, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And see what he tells you. See what he tells you. Now, Billy has just had something that he felt God call him to do, and everybody around him, myself included, is saying, oh, you can't do that. Well, we did it before, it didn't work. It didn't work. Get back in the boat. Get back in the boat. Billy wants to be dangerous. Billy wants to be dangerous. You? Come on up. This would be so darn exciting if I came next Sunday and Zena had a check for $2,500 from somebody in the church that sent her to India. Wow. That would be a dangerous Christian. That would be a Christian that walks on water. I don't know how many of us in this church can do that. Might be. It might be. So we're going to study this book of John, Peter. And now you know who Peter is. Now you know who Peter is. A dangerous Christian that's following Jesus. I can't wait to hear what he's got to tell us now. Because I don't want to listen to a Christian that's not dangerous. Boring. I want to listen to a Christian that's dangerous, that wants to get out of the boat and walk on water. I want to hear what that guy has to say. So come back next week and let's hear what he has to say in the book of 1 Peter. I'm going to worship now. Listen